החמה מראש האילנות נסתלקה, בואו ונצא לקראת שבת המלכה, הנה היא יורדת הקדושה הברוכה, ועמה מלאכים צבא שלום ומנוחה. בואי בואי המלכה, בואי בואי הברוכה, שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השלום. בואי בואי המלכה, בואי בואי הברוכה, שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השלום.
Shabbat Shalom. Baruchim Habeim. Welcome to each and every one of you. Welcome to all those who are here physically in the sanctuary. Welcome to all of those who are with us from afar, to those who are here for the very first time, to those who are here every single week. May it be a Shabbat of peace and a blessing to you and to your loved ones. We have a lot going on this evening, and the most important thing are our Benot Mitzvah, the two young women who will be called up to the Torah this Shabbat. So to Sienna, I wish you Mazal Tov on this happy, happy occasion of your life. To Sari and to Gil, family and friends from near and from far, we wish you Mazel Tov on this occasion. And to Caroline, we wish you Mazel Tov on this occasion of your Bat Mitzvah. It's a very exciting time. To Ali and to David, we wish you Mazel Tov on this happy, happy occasion as we breathe in this sacred moment. You know, someone just reminded me before services started that today is Groundhog's Day. And I remember that movie, the idea that each and every day we wake up and it's the same, and nothing ever changes, which as Shabbat comes in on this Groundhog Day, I think is exactly opposite to the message of Shabbat. Because in just a moment when we light the Shabbat candles, the purpose, the goal, the spiritual achievement is to think to ourselves that we're different people than we were a week ago, that we've made an impact on this world in which we live in, that we are capable of growth from last week to this week, and we breathe in the challenge of the week ahead to become better people and to make this world a better place as we look to the week to come. I invite you, if you are able, to please rise as the blessing over candles are said. I invite Sari and Ali, I believe, and Caroline and Sienna to come up as the cantor says the bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov. You may be seated. Let's take out our prayer books, the red books at the side of our seats. We are on page 10, Yedid Nefesh.
נשוך עבדה אל רצונה ירוץ עבדה כמו משתחווה אל מול הדרה ורהב לו ידידותיו מנופץ עצוב וכל טעם ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 ינה ניי 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 Page 11 לכו נרנן על אדוני נריע לצור אישנו נקדמה פניו ותודה בזמירות נריע לו כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים אל תקשו לפניכם כי ארבעים שנה כות בדור ואומרם טועה לבבהם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי ואפי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. Let's turn to page 13 and let's sing a new song. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו שירו לאדוני שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו ספרו בגויים כבודו בכל העמים נפלאותיו ספרו בגויים כבודו בכל העמים נפלאותיו שירו לאדוני שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו שירו לאדוני שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו מיום ליום 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 ליום ישועתו ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלואו יעלוז שדי וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל הצייר לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ ישפוט הבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו. Let's turn to the bottom of page 20. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו all please rise, page 21.
Be seated. Shabbat Shalom. In just a moment, we are going to chant Lecha Dodi, and we are going to thank God for the gift of Shabbat. And I was thinking of all the things that we associate with gifts, that it is better to give than it is to receive. And I was thinking, of a friend of mine who occasionally will give me a bottle of scotch. And what makes that gift so special is that he'll say to me, "This is my favorite." And I'm giving it, and I don't think he's regifting. But I think what makes it special is, nice as it is to receive a gift from a friend, it's even sweeter when you know how special that gift is to that person. This is my favorite X, my favorite Y, my favorite something, and it's that person's recommendation. When they give something of themselves, it elevates the gift. And I was thinking about that in terms of Shabbat. Because at this moment we are welcoming Shabbat, and in this week's Torah reading we read of the greatest gift God gives to the Jewish people, the 10 Commandments. And the fourth commandment of the 10 is Shabbat. And we know that who was the first user of Shabbat? God. And God, at the end of creation, rested on the seventh day. And God really loves Shabbat. And God was thinking, what is the greatest gift I can give to this people I love? And that gift was Shabbat. And it's a gift that keeps on giving, made all the more special as an expression of God's relationship with us. We are on page 23, Lecha Dodi.
La 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 Lecha Dodi, la 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 Likrat Kala, la 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 Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat Nekabel, la 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 Lecha Dodi, la 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 Likrat Kala, la 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 Penei Shabbat Nekabel, Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. נה 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 יא נה 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 לך דודי, יא נה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי, על יד איש בן פרצי, והיא שמחה ונגילה. ידה דה נה יא לה 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 לך דודי, יא נה 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 לקראת כלה, יא נה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, נה 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 לך דודי, נה 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 לקראת כלה, נה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. יא נה 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 לך דודי, נה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
Now, there are a lot of kids here, but I'm going to ask that we do two things right now. If you are a child under B'nai Mitzvah age, you can come up and get a blessing. If you are not, you can look to your left and right and introduce yourself to someone new. Meet someone new. Okay. We may be seated. Not you, kids. You stay up here. Wow. We're going to have to start checking IDs to make sure no one's above 13. Over all of the kids, we say, Yesimech Elohim Kesar Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yesimech Elohim, Simcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim v'Chimnash. I don't know the boy one as well. May God make you like Ephraim and Menashe. Yevarechecha Adonai v'Yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav-elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav-elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine on you and be gracious unto you. May God grant you all good things, especially the blessing of shalom, peace. To that we can all say, Amen.
We protect this chain from generation to generation. The door for door, these lips will praise your name. The door for door, Nagid God Lecha. The door for door, we protect this chain from generation to generation. The toil for
right, guys, Shabbat Shalom. If anyone wants to shake the president's hand or the chairman's, you can. No, just kidding. Go. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We are well aware of the blessings of our lives. We also know that there are individuals here in the community, in our hearts, who are in need of a prayer for healing and recovery. If there's such a person in your thoughts right now, need of healing of body, of soul, of mind, suffering from a mental affliction and addiction of any kind, I invite you, if you are able, to please rise at your seats as a cantor chants a prayer on behalf of those who are ill.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Refuah Shalema, a full and speedy recovery. You may be seated. We pause at this time to note those who we pray for each and every week. The return of Israel's captured and missing from amongst our family. God of Israel, our rock and our redeemer, God of mercy, of compassion, we pray, we plead that you return these precious and beloved people, the captured and missing, who have been cruelly and heartlessly torn from their homes and carried off to our enemy's territory. We beseech you, Adonai, quickly fulfill your word. Here I am with you. I will watch over you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. Indeed, I will not leave you until I have done what I have said for you. And let us all say, Amen. We recall the following names, those Israeli soldiers killed in action this week: Sergeant Major Eliran Yeager, Major Netzer Simchi, Captain Gabriel Shani, and Warrant Officer Yuval Nir. May their memories be for a blessing. As a community, we recall the following loved ones. We extend our condolences to Gail Bassett, to Clifford, on the passing of Gail's beloved mother, Phyllis. May her memory be for a blessing. To Barbara Fine, we extend our deepest condolences on the passing of your husband, Gerald Fine. To Jamie Dinan, we extend our deepest condolences to you on the passing of your beloved brother, Donald. May you and Elizabeth and the entire family find comfort into the future. We recall the following yahrzeits this week: Eliza Adler, Ida Allerhan, Jeanette Berman, Stella Bernstein, Dr. Samuel Burson, Hannah Blechner, Dr. Moses Koenig, William Sertelman, Edwin Cohen, Solomon Cohen, Ada Cumans, Martin Davis, Mark Drachman, Stanley Fabricant, Elizabeth Feiner, Francis Fisher, Hannah Franklin, Ella Goldman, Deborah Lynn Greenberg, Goldie Grief, Edith Grodnick, Milton Hirschhorn, George Kamenow, Pauline Katz, Hannah Kaufman, Murray Coven, Benjamin Lax, William Landis, Elliot Levin, Harold Levine, Percy Levitas, Donald Levy, Sheldon Liebhaber, Harry Lutsky, Dorothy Marone, Ann Nemser, Leonard Plotch, Gladys Roner, Dr. Harold Ruths, Ruth Rosen, Ruben Rosenblum, Irving Rosenfeld, David Rubin, Anna Schmerzler, Samuel Schneider, Joachim Shore, Martha Schwartz, Sherwood Schwarz, Dr. Andrea Seitel, Alexander Sirota, Edith Shapiro, Lillian Schub, Richard Siegel, Francis Sperber, Felix Stein, Alan Stevens, Solomon Tepfer, Sarah Tucker, Edith Turek, Reynold Wacht, Avis Waddell, Michael Wagschel, Enid Weinberg, Murray Weinstein, Bess Weinstein, Edward Winnick, Harvey Winthrop, Harry Zane, and Lester Zachrin. If you are in mourning observing the yahrzeit of a loved one, I invite you to please rise. Kaddish can be found on page 30. Mourner's Kaddish, page 30. Kaddish, page 30. Yit kadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach yerutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit ba'ar v'yit v'yitnaseh. Vit hadar, vit ale, vit alal, shemei de kudasha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Shabbat Shalom. This evening, our community is profoundly honored to receive a visit from Governor Kathy Hochul. The 57th and first female governor of New York State. These past few months, and I'll return to this topic, at rally after rally following the vicious attacks of October 7th, I've heard the governor speak with passion and clarity and solidarity with the Jewish people. To welcome the governor to address us this Shabbat in this sanctuary is an honor that neither I nor anyone present will ever forget. Honored as we are, Governor, to have you address us this evening, I need to tell you that this is not the first time that the Israelites received a solidarity visit from a non-Jew more familiar with priests than rabbis. The first time that happened was actually in this week's Torah reading, the story of Jethro, the high priest of Midian. The Israelites had just escaped from their Egyptian oppressors. They just battled their foe Amalek. They faced an uncertain journey ahead. They were weary, they were broken, and there was still a long, long way to travel. And it is in that moment, when everything was hanging in the balance, that Jethro appears, the first example of allyship to the Jewish people. The Bible states that Moses recounted all the hardships that had befallen Israel to Jethro. And then the text says, Vayichad Yitro, and Jethro stood in solidarity. Vayichad, the same as the Hebrew word echad, meaning one. Jethro found common cause with Israel and blessed them. Blessed be the Lord who has delivered you from the hands of your oppressors. It shouldn't be lost on any of us that it was at that moment, when the chips were down, that it was Jethro's presence, the allyship from this leader outside of the tribe, who bestowed a blessing of comfort upon Israel. There would still be battles to fight. There would still be ups and downs in the wilderness ahead. But it was at that moment that Israel knew that they were not alone. They knew that someone had their back. Someone stood in solidarity with them, in word and in deed, lifting their spirits so they could face another day. Like the Israelites of old, our people are in the midst of our wilderness travail. The attacks of October 7th, the continued war against the modern-day Amalek, the Hamas terrorists who hold Israeli lives hostage, and for that matter, the Palestinian people. A surge in global anti-Semitism, online, on campuses, and on our streets right here in our great state of New York. The voices of those who would deny Israel the right to self-defense and self-determination and turn a blind eye to the noxious rise of Jew hatred. And in this moment, we see who our friends are and who are not. Who are the upstanders and who are the bystanders and enablers of hatred? With the turning of the calendar, we see the coming of an election season. Now is the time to make sure our friends feel our support, and those who are not our friends wish that they were. Allyship means standing by those who stand by you in good times and in tough times. And in that spirit, I want to thank the allies of the Jewish people who are here this evening. Some of you are actually Jews, not of the priestly class, but we still count on your support all the same. So to New York City Council member Julie Menon, we thank you for being here this evening. To New York State Assembly members Rebecca Seawright and Alex Boris, we thank you for being here this evening. To New York State Senator, we welcomed you before. It's always good to see you. Liz Kruger, it's great to have you here this evening. And first among equals is the governor of our great state, Kathy Hochul. The governor was the first elected official to visit Kfar Aza, where many of us visited that same day when President Biden was in Israel. The governor was not only meeting regularly and continues to meet regularly with hostage families, but has convened a bipartisan congressional delegation with hostage families to ensure state and federal cooperation. The governor is the leader of a bipartisan coalition to stand in solidarity with Israel, issuing statement after statement condemning the Hamas terror attacks in the strongest possible terms. Here at home, the governor has made clear that calls for genocide of the Jewish people is a violation of New York and federal law. The governor tapped Judge Lippman to launch a comprehensive review of anti-Semitism and anti-discrimination policies at all CUNY campuses, as well as signing legislation to strengthen hate crime investigation on our campuses. And I should note that the governor's attention to issues of concern to our community long preceded October 7th, a longtime advocate of Holocaust education, Holocaust reparations, and beyond. I could go on, but you're here to hear her, not me. So I'll get to the point. Friends, if you want to know what an ally to Israel looks like, if you want to know what an ally to the Jewish people looks like, you need look no further than our governor, Kathy Hochul. We have stood side by side, sometimes literally these past months. You have stood by our community in all ways, and we stand by you. As Jethro blessed Israel, today we bless you, that you should be granted strength and success in all your endeavors, that you should lead our great state knowing the gratitude and the support of our Jewish community, and most of all, that we should all see that day, please God soon, when the hostages are released, that peace should come, and that all people should treat each other as befitting a humanity created in the image of our shared God and Creator. Please join me in welcoming our governor, Kathy Hochul.
Thank you, Rabbi Cosgrove. I've never been called Jethro before, but I'll accept that. And the meaning behind those words are so touching. And I accept the blessing with gratitude, for in our positions, we often need to know that there's a person who's looking out for us. And I've believed and was raised in the faith of a Judeo-Christian heritage and a strong belief in the teachings of the Old Testament and, for me, the New Testament. And so I come here as someone who has a strong sense of affinity with the Jewish people, that the seeds of which were planted when I was a child, and my parents took us to every interfaith celebration there was. We've celebrated Passover and Hanukkah and made sure that they made sure their children who were raised as social justice Catholics back in the 1960s understood who we stood with at that time. And so I just honor my parents at this time by also carrying on the tradition they had of showing us solidarity. I also want to thank Rabbi Shana Zazmir. I'm going to thank her, and Cantor Ozzie Schwartz, former Chairman Alan Levine, who I just saw at a dinner recently, and I thank him for his support and what he's done for the legal community as well, and our President, Lizzie Marhas, and of course, Chairman Mark First. You know, I know this congregation has stood up in countless ways since October 7th, and I want to thank you for that. And this is a time when it matters who stands up, and it matters who shows up, and it matters who goes once again as a delegation to give comfort to the people of Israel. And that was really what was the foundation of why I went. Yes, I'm the proud governor of the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. I brag about it all the time. But I also knew that I had to get on a plane as soon as the security forces would allow me to come. And literally, President Biden was taking off and I was landing at Tel Aviv. I had to wait till he departed. And you may have heard this, but I also, upon arrival, learned that my father had suffered a brain hemorrhage during the night and he passed a few hours later. But I want to share with you what he said to me, because I'm still his little girl. And I called him the night before, and I wasn't sure I should call Dad from JFK. I was in the terminal, I was ready to go, and I said, I'll be back in 2 days. So I tell Dad, Dad's great. He just went to the doctor that day. He said he's going to live forever, and so Dad's good. He's my friend, and talk to him all the time. But do I want to make him worry about me, or am I going to, I'm going into a war zone, and maybe I should just let him be in peace. And something told me to pick up the phone at 11 o'clock at night and call my dad. And I said, Dad, I'm going to Israel. And he reminded me that he wanted to go there for his 80th birthday. He did celebrate there. And he says, Dolly, he always called me Dolly, Dolly, I'm proud of you, but keep your goddamn head down. So that was my dad. And I treasure his final words to me, not knowing that they'd be the last. I looked forward to coming back and telling him about my experience, and it wasn't meant to be. And I landed. And of course, my staff, looking out for me, said, well, we'll get you on the next plane back. You lost your father. And I said, no, I can't help my father now, but perhaps I can help some healing with the people of Israel. So I stayed. And I have to tell you that word spread quickly about what had happened. And when I went to the wall with the message that I was prepared to give on behalf of the hostages, the families, those whose lives were lost on that horrible, horrible day, I also slipped in a message about my father, and people were coming to comfort me. So you think about Jethro and the message of trying to help the oppressed and help those who need help at that time. I took more comfort from the people of Israel in my time of sorrow than I felt I was even able to give them. It was an incredible experience, and I want you to know that touched my soul. So I went on to my duties. We went to a place that had become a makeshift camp, a sort of rundown hotel. And this is where the displaced families from Kfar Aza were. And they took me to a room where I had a chance to meet the families. Some were waiting word of a hostage member of their family. Some had already lost them. And I just sat there in this circle, quiet, listening to their stories about their loved ones. One gentleman, about my age, told me that he wasn't home at the time because he had gone to San Francisco to greet a brand new grandbaby. And I have a little grandbaby too, so we talked about that. But his wife couldn't go because she wasn't feeling well, and his wife was found wrapped in the arms of their son who had stayed to watch her. And the strength that he conveyed that story to me, and all I could do was hug him and cry with him, but I said, how could he even stand here and tell me this? I mean, if that happened to my beloved husband of 40 years, I don't know that I'd have the strength to even be there. So I took strength from so many people as well. It was incredible. I also met this very handsome young man who told me that his wife and 3 daughters were taken that morning. And also, you saw the story because it played out in the national news. A little 4-year-old girl whose own parents had been killed wandered down the street and went to her friend's house. And she was also kidnapped. She was released just a few weeks ago. And her story captivated all of us. How dare you? How dare you take these innocent children and women? And I went to Kfar Aza the next day, I'll tell you honestly, I'll never be the same. What I saw in the rubble, homes that have been created for people that were so peace-loving. This community had people that were raising money every week to send over to the children of Gaza. Every year on this one day, there was one family that used to fly colorful kites over into Gaza as a sign of peace and friendship. It was their tradition to do it at 4 o'clock every year on this day. And I saw those kites when I walked into this home that was so beaten, blood-stained walls and just rubble everywhere. Those kites were in a pool of blood. That's an image I can't get out of my head. That people were trying so hard to live a peaceful life, a life of love, the way they were taught, and the way it was returned was with death and cruelty and barbarism. And I also saw the rooms where horrible things happened to women, and they were described to me, and I don't want to talk about them here. I still can't touch the shoes that I wore walking through those places. It still has the smell of death. So I'm affected by it. But I knew I had to go because I had to be a voice and come back and say what I saw with my own eyes. And you cannot believe me if you choose to, because there are people who think I probably made this all up. But it was so real, and it still lives with me today, that I feel I must continue to use my voice as the governor of the state of New York to call out this injustice, to call out the cruelty, and to say at this time, why aren't we talking about the hostages every single day the way we do in a place like this? Why isn't that on the evening news? Now, most of you look really much too young to remember this. But 1979, the Iranian hostage crisis, did you not see every single night on the news, day 54, day 100, day 400? The whole world and our country was talking about the people, Americans who were taken. What about the Americans who are sitting somewhere trying to figure out if they're going to live to see the next day, captives, as well as the 100 others? Where's the outrage, my friends? Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage about what happened to those women? How can women's groups in our own state and our own country not be out there marching and protesting, saying, how dare you abuse these innocent women the way you did? My other question is, where are the allies? Where are the Jethros of our time? Where are the people who stand together? Because the Jewish people have been there through every cause that mattered. You know, we just started Black History Month. I've heard Reverend Al Sharpton talk about this on national television. He said it was the Jewish people who marched shoulder to shoulder in the freedom rides going down south and protesting and standing up for civil rights in the 1960s. The Jewish people have been there through the LGBTQ battles. They were there when calling out Asian hate during the pandemic. There during the George Floyd protests. Every cause, allies have come together. As this rise in anti-Semitism is so out of control and so deeply rooted beyond what I ever could have imagined, I'm saying, where are the allies now? I don't say this to make you feel worse than you do. I really don't. And there's a part of me, I told Alan, I'm not even sure I should describe what I saw because it just, I can share it, I'm strong, but I don't want anyone to feel that they're reopening the wounds. There's starting to be some healing. But we must continue to talk about this because Israel has a right to defend itself, and it is getting tough out there. And I know no one wants any innocent life lost. Never. But even St. Augustine in my teaching said there is just war. There are times you can defend yourselves. And if Israel doesn't continue to root out Hamas, they've already said they'll come back. They've told us that we don't have to guess or speculate. They have announced that they will be back. because they don't revere life the way we do. They have no sense of the values that are inscribed in all of us from our teachings. And so I went over, I spoke, and I come back to my own state and I see the largest increase in anti-Semitism in its history. College campuses on fire, people not understanding at all the history of oppression, not even understanding the Holocaust. And in New York State, it's required to be taught in our schools. I did an event on this in September. So, is this being taught in our schools? Can someone prove to me that it is? Yes, it's on the books, you're supposed to. But I don't remember my kids coming back from school telling me they learned about the Holocaust. They had to learn that from us. So I raised that then. But even now more than ever, what is happening on our college campuses caused me back in September to ask Jonathan Lippman, revered jurist, former chief judge of the Court of Appeals. I said, Jonathan, you've got to help me with this. Investigate what's going on in our college campuses. Start with CUNY. And I just met him a couple days ago. He has over 40 attorneys working pro bono to help us figure this out. I'm grateful for people like Jonathan Lippman. What else can we do? You may have seen this as well. I had to leave when I returned to go bury my father in Florida. I arrived late at night, got a message that there had been a horrific posting on social media on Cornell's campus. And the Cornell students, and this is a bucolic little community, it's so isolated from the rest of the world, but yet hate had penetrated those ivory walls. And there was a message that said, follow Jewish students home and slit their throats. I just got back from a funeral, and I called up the president of Cornell, and I said, I'll see you in the morning. I'm coming there. I'm going to sit with you and those students who must be terrorized, and their parents, and the aunts and uncles, all worried now about their child who just went off to get a college degree, who's now being threatened only because they're Jewish. In America, in New York State, in 2022, 24, 23. And what year is it? I'm so... that was to see if you're paying attention. It actually happened in 2023. We're now in 2024. And I went the next morning, I went to the Center for Jewish Living, gathered these young people, and I said, I'm your governor. I'm going to protect you. What do you need? And these kids said, well, we want more security cameras. And I knew there's all sorts of RFPs and protocols and procurement. And I said, you want a security camera? I'll run down to Home Depot and get you one right now. Because I wanted to make sure those kids felt safe. We got them the money. I'm going to continue bringing money to this. And I want to thank my members of the legislature who are here today. Liz Kruger, our senator, Rebecca Seawright, Assembly member Alex Boris, and Julie Menon, our council member. They are standing with me to make sure we have the resources to protect our citizens here, on campuses, in synagogues, in cultural centers, wherever people feel threatened. We increased it from $25 million to $35 million. We also are adding more offenses under what is defined as a hate crime, and made sure that hate crimes are bail eligible. That had not been the case. We changed the law to make sure that hate crimes are bail eligible. But of the offenses right now, if one individual assaults someone and screams, I don't want to say what they would scream, but anti-Semitic slurs, they can be charged with a hate crime. But if a gang of people did it at the same time, that's not eligible for hate crime. And we're going to fix those laws. I want everybody to know that the law is on our side. We protect our citizens. And I'll make sure that that happens. So we're continuing to focus on this. And I just wish I could take away the stress, the anxiety of all of you, those of you who have loved ones in harm's way, all the young people who are fighting over there, the hostage families. I took a picture of Omer Nutra, young man whose family, he grew up on Long Island. I handed that picture to the Prime Minister. I handed it to the President. I handed it to the Foreign Defense Minister. I want this young man brought home. He's one of ours. Help us find him. So I wish I could give you more than words. I will put resources behind this. I'll put the weight of my office behind this. I'll continue to say that it's not allowed to call for genocide on a college campus. I sent a letter to every single college president and said this violates New York State's human rights law. It violates Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It violates New York State human rights law. And I just thought, just in case these college presidents didn't remember that, I sent them a letter to remind them. So I'm continuing to find every way I can to address this crisis, because what I want for our people is to have that sense of normalcy, of calm, of not feeling under siege, not feeling under threat, because you deserve that. You deserve that. And we will bring our hostages home. We have to bring them home. That is job number one, to reunite them with their families. And I think about what was said in the Talmud. Whoever saves one life saves the whole world. We need to save their lives. It's up to us to continue bringing that pressure to bear on our government and others who have the power to intercede and bring back our hostages. Bring them home. Bring them home. So the status quo is not acceptable to this governor. Our moral compass may be broken right now, but we'll heal this. One thing I know about the Jewish people, they are strong, they are resilient, they are defiant. And I will stand with you in that defiance, to stand up against all this evil and hatred that is out there lurking. Because the way I look at it, there's far more people who've been subjected to hate crimes and oppression, and they should all be banded together, not divided, banded together against the forces of hate in our state. That's how we conquer hate. That's how we bring light to darkness, and that's what we do in the great state of New York. Thank you, everyone.
יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Governor Hochul, we thank you for sharing your words with our community. As a sign of our thanks, we wanted to present you with a token of our appreciation. But we also wanted to follow government ethic laws that limit what kind of gifts we can give to you.
Thank you.
So we are giving you this box of matches. One side is the words, "Bring them home," and the other side has a QR code.
Every Shabbat, you can scan that code, and you will see a different biography of an Israeli held hostage by Hamas. We hope that you will use them and keep in mind and pray for their safety. This week's Parsha describes Moses setting up a system of justice and government, selecting leaders who are capable, incorruptible, and trustworthy. We are grateful to have you as our leader, who we can look up to, who exemplifies these qualities and is a friend to the Jewish people. Thank you again, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for the honor. I would say these exceed the contribution limits because to me they're priceless. Thank you.
אבינו, אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. אבינו אבינו שבשמיים צור ישראל וגואלו.
We invite you to remain standing for Baruchu, page 39A.
Ya na 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 na, ya na na ya na 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 na, na 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 na, ya na na ya na 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 na, na 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 na, ya na na ya na 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 na, ya na na. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת. Page 40 leading to the Shema, which we will recite together. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו והם נהגי יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך. וים שמות תשמור מצוותיי. We continue with the words of the Shema on page 42. שמתם את דברי אלינו וכמלך שרמות ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר בני ישראל ואמרת להם ועשו להם ציצה. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו. Continue through the story of Exodus leading to Micha Mocha, the Song of the Sea on page 44. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך באלים נדר בקודש מי כמוך נדר נורא תהילות עושה אוסף אלה, אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. כמוך באלים אדוני, באלים, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נהדר בקודש. נאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We pray for peace in Israel, here in New York, and all around the world as we ask God to spread over us a canopy of peace, page 45, Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו, מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו, מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים. If you're able, please rise, page 46. ושמרו ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל לעשות את השבת לדורותם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמד ורחילותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון וביומי חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו, יהי שמי רבה מברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה ואמרו.
We take some time now for the silent Amidah, beginning on page 47. You can pray in the Hebrew, in the English, or whatever prayers are in your heart. And when you've concluded, you may be seated.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ועלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכנו ויומכנו וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותון ובאותון דכל ישראל, קודם ובהון דבישמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן.
Caroline Sienna, we invite you to lead us in Kiddush. We rise in body or in spirit, page 55.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, beratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh, zecher l'tzion mitzrayim, ki vanu laharta, be'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, be'shabbat Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Thank you so much, Caroline Sienna. You can open the ark for us for Aleinu. We remain standing, page 56.
Aleinu l'shapeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula le'yotzeh breshit, ve'lo asanu kigoyei haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, she'lo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamona. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שבונות השמיים יוסר הארץ. הכתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יחיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Ask those in mourning observing yahrzeit to remain standing. Kaddish, page 58. Yit kadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei, be'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudasha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God, who ordains harmony in the universe, grant peace to us, to Israel, to all of humanity. And let us all say, amen. You may be seated. Shabbat shalom. I want to welcome each and every one of you here, all those here for the very first time, all those who are here every single week, those in person and those from afar via live stream. To you and your families, a Shabbat of shalom, of peace. I want to thank everyone who led our services so beautifully this evening, and I especially want to thank our greeters for this evening, to our lay ushers, Sandra Lerner, Darcy Dalton, Diane Hess, Stephanie Levy, and Emily Salama Caro. Thank you so much for greeting everyone warmly. It's not every Shabbat that the governor and these state senators and council members come in. You've earned your paycheck tonight, though you're not getting paid anything. I do want to thank our honored representatives, some of whom remain here, whom we acknowledged earlier. I especially want to acknowledge Deputy Ambassador Jonathan Brett Miller. It's great to have you. It's great to have your wife Edna here. It's great to have your in-laws here from the Jewish community of Mumbai. This is the Torah reading all about the in-laws. And how's your son-in-law working out? He picked a tough job to be at the UN, so we thank you for representing the Deputy Permanent Representative of Israel. We look forward to being in dialogue with you into the future. Caroline, Mazel Tov to you on this happy occasion, to Ali and David and the family and friends from near and far. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. And to Sienna, Mazel Tov to you on this happy occasion, to Sari and to Gil, to family and friends. It's great to celebrate this happy. Just think, the governor for the rest of her life is going to say, I was there at Caroline and Sienna's bat mitzvah. What an honor it was for her to be here for you. And I want to remind everyone, tomorrow morning, Torah, Hashkama Minyan, Parsha at 9 a.m. Services start at 9:45. Tomorrow is UJA Shabbat. So we have the head of UJA, Eric Goldstein, here. He will speak about the relationship between UJA and PAS and the good work UJA has been doing across the city, across the state, and across the globe. In partnership with UJA on Sunday, if you have a teenager, from noon to 4 here, we're doing a teen parent summit responding to anti-Semitism in the wake of the war in Israel. 8th to 12th graders learning effective tools for responding to anti-Semitism. There's a speaker, parent and teen electives, family processing, and even lunch. So please come. And next Friday, February 9th, 4:30, we're continuing with Let's Play Chess for seniors and young children to get to know each other, spend time together, and even play chess. Our insights into Israel continue on Thursday, February 15th. Rabbi Michael Gretz will be in dialogue with Rabbi Svika Gretz and Michal Abramoff, our shlicha. You can register online for that. We have a tradition here at Park Avenue Synagogue. If this is your very first time here, we want to welcome you especially. Is there anyone who has never stepped into this building? We already acknowledged you, John, and Edna and your in-laws from Mumbai. Anyone else? Anyone else? In the middle aisle. You've never been here before. Where are you from? Baltimore. Yeah, sorry about the Ravens. Okay, anyone else? Yes. Oh, good to have you here. Baruch haba, Baruch haba. It's great to have you here. Anyone else? Yes. Boston. It's great to have you here. Connecticut. Yes. Amsterdam. Okay. Balcony. Yes. Sydney. Wow. Now you're just one-upping everyone. Is anyone further away from Sydney? Okay, balcony, another one? I can't see up there. Okay. All right. We'll greet everyone after the services tonight. We'll conclude our service And I want to acknowledge on the bima the leadership of our community, to our president, Lizzie Marcus, and to our chairman, Mark First. We thank you for everything. None of this happens by way of magic dust. The governor just doesn't decide to come here. It's people like Jenny Sedlis who makes it happen. It's people like Alan Levine, our past chairman, who makes it happen. We work as a community together to become stronger together, and we thank everyone for all of the work towards making our community the shining light that it is. We conclude with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashaveh, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh